the aim of it all, isn't it? Just to chill out from life and everything. Okay, so I would like you, if you've just joined us now, I'm sitting on a little cushion. Just sit yourself onto something that you know is going to be comfy and give yourself a little wiggle around. Relax the neck, shoulders, upper body. Place your hands on the legs, and if cross-leg position doesn't suit you, you can change it. You can have one leg sticking out or two, or move about to find a position that suits you. Because what I hope you find in the next just minute or two is some stillness. You'll always start a practice with sort of a shuffle around or a little bit of movement just to find that quiet place. And even though it might not be quiet in the building, in the house that you're in at the moment, your home, you might hear sounds left and right, in or out. We're trying to kind of come away from all of that and send our attention a little bit more towards our center. And that can mean different things to different people or different things on different evenings. It might be your breath, it might be your heartbeat, or you might just be thinking about an area, a physical area between your belly button and your lower back. When you think you've found a quiet spot in your body or a physical position that suits how you're feeling this evening, you bring your attention towards your breathing. And we just give it a moment to notice it. We just almost imagine that time stands still. And our breath is the only activity. Every breath in you take, imagine your spine can get just a little bit taller. So we've got some lengthening to do this evening. We've got some space to create. And as you breathe out, imagine your sit bones, your hips getting a little lower. Your breath in creates length and space, where your breath out grounds you. Take the biggest breath you've taken all day and start to move the shoulders. You can have the eyes open or closed at this stage. There's no right or wrong way now to do the shoulders. Just as long as you're creating some space and you're getting some movement to the shoulders, to the chest, to the shoulder blades. Cross one hand across over onto the opposite leg. Spine is still tall. And twist. Repeat that slowly to the opposite side. The spine stays tall. And it's all about the twist. Come all the way back to the center and slide your legs out straight ahead of you. Knees bent, slide the arms down along the outsides of the legs. Hook your fingers just outside your feet, so the edges of your feet. Let your head bow down. Let your shoulders relax. Soften the tongue in your mouth, your neck and throat. And just give your back a minute to stretch in that position. It's just going to create some space across the shoulder blade area, very kindly, very gently, no force. Your big inhale, your breath in, is the bit that creates the more effective stretch. That's going to create more space than just being here. Relax your neck. Now to bring in the legs a little bit more, we're going to push one foot a little bit away from you, then the other. So we're bringing in the hamstrings to this space and this stretch now. Push one foot away from you a bit further, maybe the other. And you'll reach a limit. You'll reach a lockout point here where you can't push your feet any further. You can't curl yourself into much more of a ball. You're as flexed, as folded as your body gets. That's your position. We push our feet into our hands. And while we're here, we try and move our bum back to the wall behind us. And that's what brings in the hamstrings. That's what builds in a deep leg stretch to an already stretching out spine, back, shoulder blade area. Now we have to come out of this kind of slowly and carefully to mind the back. So bring one hand up onto your shin, then the other, and then you walk your hands back up till you're nice and tall again. Okay. Cross one foot over your thigh. As you can see here now, I'm just grabbing my foot with one hand, the knee with the other hand, and I'm just going to lift that leg up towards me. As much as I can do, I'm keeping my back straight. Rock that leg a little to the left, a little to the right. So that's getting into the hips. You might feel like you can't lift the leg up. Don't worry if that's happening. Just rock a little bit side to side if you can't get the foot off the leg. It's a really, really good stretch for the glutes or for the hip joint in particular. So we're just seeing what we can do at this stage. It'll all ramp up now in a moment. You'd be delighted to hear that. Let's stretch out the other leg and compare. The hips can be so different, and when you slow a movement down like this, you pick up on that. So one foot is crossed over one thigh. You're going to use one hand underneath the foot. So we're lifting. We're trying to get a bit of air time here and a bit of space. And you can kind of guide up the knee with your opposite hand. And then we're rocking. It's a little less about moving your upper body. It's a lot more about just the leg on its own, rocking. If you feel like this is too easy, what you can do is kind of cradle the leg almost as if it's like a little child or something. You can really pick it up there and give it a good old rock side to side. So just decide on what level of stretch you need now this evening. Okay, last thing now for the groin and sitting. We're bringing our feet together, wrapping the hands around the toes, lifting the chest, good groin stretched in that position. We can relax the head, neck and shoulders. Sometimes the upper trapezius muscle just up around the neck area, that can sort of kick in here and get a bit tight, but keep reminding it, not involved. The only thing involved here are groin muscles, adductor muscles. You can be giving the toes a little bit of a wiggle around. We're going to give those toes a good stretch out now in a while in a different position. Okay. It's a balance challenge, but it also involves a knee bend. So let's have a look at this. You're going to bring your knees together. The feet are together. Use your hands, if you want, to push yourself up onto the balls of your feet. So wherever you are in your mat, you're pushing yourself. You're balancing now on the balls of your feet. I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see this in full. That's what it looks like. You don't need to turn. Now, if that does not suit your knees, you'd be much better off getting the same toe stretch by just bringing your knees down onto the mat, and you can always double over your mat to cushion your knees. You call it. The position that we're going to get into is actually a spinal stability position now. So once you've got into this position, try and have your feet really close together, your knees really close together. You will naturally be leaning forward here. That's the path of least resistance for the body. I want your spine to get strong. So I want you to take your body away from your thighs so that now you've got your head over your heart over your pelvis. And I want you to monitor in your mind what your ankles are doing. They often flick in and flick out, move quite a bit. Do you think you can stabilize them? Stop those guys moving. Gently pull your ankles in towards each other. Gently keep your knees or your inner thighs pressing towards each other and bring your hands to your heart center. Now, try and keep the knees level with each other. We're about to turn. This is a bit of a killer now on the legs, but it's a good one. Turning all the way in one direction. Doesn't matter what side you've gone for. Turning, turning, turning. Try and avoid one knee jumping forwards. Keep the knees together. Now reach the arms out wide. Big breath in. Relaxing breath out, even though it's a challenge. Come all the way back to center. Don't leave me here on my own. Keep with me. What are your ankles doing? Keep them in together. There'll be lots of wobbles. Turning in the opposite direction. You'll probably feel your calves. You'll probably feel your quads. Open out the arms. Big breath in. We'll release this in a moment. Big breath out. Now bring the hands together to your heart center. You're going to love the next bit. It's straight to downward dog. Hands go to the mat. I can almost hear the sigh of relief, even though you're all muted, so I can't. Now, let's treat those calves, those ankles, to a little bit of pedaling in downward facing dog. Just simple stuff. When you're pedaling, relax the head and neck. Give the head a little nod now as if it's saying yes. Roll your shoulders about a little bit. Get a big, refreshing breath into the body. Okay, feet together. Now right leg lifts and goes pretty high already. Reach that right foot to the wall behind you. And now we're going to bring the right foot to the front of the mat. Drop down the back knee. And you basically frame your front foot with your hands. So the two hands are just at the sides of my foot. Relax the back foot. Inhale, reach the head and chest up. And exhale, let's bring that back to a hamstring stretch. Move your body back, walk your hands back, your head goes down. Breathing in, move forwards again. You're up on your fingertips, chest lift. Breathing out, flowing back the way. Body is moving back. You're kind of balancing on your fingertips here, head down. Last one, moving it forwards. And then back to the hamstring stretch with your breath out, nice and slow. Come back up to a low lunge position, meaning your front knee now is going to land over the front ankle. The back knee is comfortable, so fix that up for yourself if it's not. When you lift your body up, your hands will land on your hips and just relax the shoulders again. So now we want the head over the heart, heart over hips. We want this lovely straight spinal line again. And to get a decent hip stretch down through the front hip flexor, the left leg's hip flexor, press your back foot to the mat. Anchor that down. To get a little more, the word I'm going to use here is containment, but it's strength and stability in the pelvic area. I want you to try and pull your front heel towards your back knee and vice versa. Like as if you're trying to close these legs back together again, but they're not going to budge. I want them to be pretty static here on the mat. So pretty strong activity. Back foot pressing down if you can. Front heel pulling backwards if you can. And now we're going to turn to the right. So we're turning, spinning really from the waist up. And then we release out the arms. Right hand is now reaching to the wall behind. Left hand reaching to the wall in front. Shoulders and neck relaxed. Legs, they're the active part here. If you think of one thing with the legs, press the back foot down. Left foot, press it down. Okay, downward dog. Nice to get out of that. Hands come to the mat, curl the back toes under. Whoop, back goes the right foot. And enjoy the off button. So this downward dog, it's kind of your rest pose. So you could use child's pose here or downward dog in a little while if you think, too much for me now this evening. Okay, let's bring the right foot off the ground, up into the air. It doesn't have to be that high. As long as it's reaching back, that's more important at this point now. Reach it back to the wall. Relax the shoulders, the jaws, the neck area. Big breath in. And as you bring that foot forward, you might be able to breathe out. As you do, you drop down the back knee and relax the back foot. I know that's the same side. We're going to do one different stretch. Let's bring the arms all the way up overhead. Now with this stretch, what we're going to aim for is a huge chest stretch, okay? So the arms are reaching up and then back a little bit. Anchor the back foot down and tuck the tailbone down while you slowly look up to the ceiling if you can. Maybe you can arch back a little bit if the back is feeling good today. If you think, I can go that far. Now we reach the arms toward the floor, then all the way back, interlace the fingers, shoulders pull back away from your ears, and now we're reaching the arms as far back as you can do to get a big, big, big chest stretch. Big breath in and out. That's a big bit of space around the front of the shoulders and chest where we need it most. And then we let it all go. Hands down, back foot curls under, back to downward dog, or stay there if you're happy. It could be all fours if you want to do a cat-cow for your back, or it could be child's pose. So we're picking our own little changeover pose now, whatever one suits you. If you're in downward dog, great. If not, make your way back up to it. I'll meet you there. Now it's the left leg's turn to rise. Once it lifts, again, it's all about reaching that foot back to the wall behind you. Reach it back, go for as much length with the back of that leg as possible. Big breath in, and as you breathe out, maybe you can bring that left foot forwards. Drop down your back knee, relax the back foot. Fingertips are on the floor now. We're kind of framing that front foot almost with the hands, and then lifting the chest. Big breath in. Big breath out, moving it back for the hamstring stretch. Head down. Breathing in, moving the hands forward. Breathing out as we make our way back a little bit for the hamstring. Slow and steady moving forwards. Back to the hamstring, last hamstring one at the minute. And then we're moving into that low lunge position now, meaning moving the front knee forwards until it stops and lands over the front ankle. The hands will come onto the hips or waist. We want to make sure the back knee is comfortable, so that's your job just to kind of adjust whatever you need to. Most of you know what to do there to make that happen. Anchor the back foot down. Front heel, back knee, they're going to start a conversation. They're going to start talking to each other. It's almost like you're pulling your heel back towards your front, your right knee. And you should feel a fairly strong anterior hip stretch there. Front of the right hip, really getting a good deep, deep stretch now. Now we're turning left. Turning as far left as we can. Opening out the arms. There's a lot going on in the lower part of the body here. If you can think of the main thing, it would be your back foot anchoring to the floor. Big breath. It's a big stretch when you keep all that engagement going on, all that activity in the legs. Front heel pulling back to the knee. There's a lot of heat in this sequence. You can feel your body kind of warming up with it. Now, let's bring the hands back down to the mat. Curl the back toes under. Let's take ourselves back through to downward dog, or it could be all fours with cat and cow, or it could be child's pose. You might have had a mad day where you just need to be closer to the ground and get a good back stretch through child's pose. Your body, your day, you decide. Okay, whatever position you're in, bring it back to downward dog. Let's take that left foot up one more time. And instead of going for loads of height, just go to the wall behind you with that heel. So we're really just trying to drive that heel back, back, back to the wall behind us. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, see what you can do about bringing that back leg up to the front of the mat again. Drop down the back knee. That will help you. Now, we're going to slowly bring those arms forward forward, forward and up. Maybe we can gaze up in between the two hands, picking a spot on the wall that looks steady. Well, I hope you're all steady. But definitely just something that's not moving. What we want to do now is anchor down the back foot, tuck down the tailbone. Delicious hip stretch going on there now, big time. Lean back if you can. Loads of breath. We just don't want kind of the tummy really poking forwards here. It's much more important to keep the tailbone tucked down to get the value of the hip stretch. And then the arms reach forward, back and behind you. Interlace the fingers. Now the shoulder blades move back. The arms reach back. Huge chest stretch again, but it will be different based on the leg position now. I mean, if you can keep that back foot anchored down, you're doing yourself a huge service for that right hip. That's the leg that's getting most of the attention now. Release the hands to the mat, and it's child's pose for everyone. So just take back that leg. Knees go out wide. It's a nice position after all of that. Ease back your hips towards your heels. And then find a comfortable head position. So have a moment here where you might rest your head on your hands. Or maybe you lower your head to the floor and stretch out your arms. That'll be very, very unique and personal to you, personal to the day that you're in. Try a few options out and see what feels best for you. Big breath in through the back of the body. Breath out to soften you, just to give yourself a break. Even though you're in the middle of a strong practice, you're well deserving of a good break. Yoga is not about a cardiovascular challenge. It's about detailed, slow movements to tap into different corners of the body that need a bit of space and maybe even that need a bit of strength. Let's stretch out the arms straight ahead if you haven't already. Two hands to the one side, just to get a nice side stretch through the lats, the latissimus dorsi, big muscle group at the side of your body. Feels good. That's often when I feel like I could stay in all day. Let's do the other side. Just as I say that, we want to move and keep going with the flow now today. Great. Let's slowly then come back to the center of the mat. We're going to stand up at the back of the mat. And the feet are going to be out as wide as your mat. Right. Inhale and reach those arms up once you feel ready, once you feel steady enough. Now the hands are going to come to your heart center. I want you then to think about your bum, basically. And I want you to stick your bum out behind you, out behind you, out behind you, and lower yourself down to a position where you feel, I'm steady here. If I go any lower, I'll have to go up on my tippy toes. So it doesn't have to be too low. Now, I want you to investigate the options here. Tailbone stuck out even more versus tailbone tucked in. What feels better for your back? For most, it's actually halfway between the two. So once you've got that position, now I want you to anchor a bit of energy down into both heels. Lift your chest. Reach your arms straight ahead. You thanking me? Hopefully thanking me right now that this feels good, energetic. Yeah. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up overhead. And then just shake it off. We're going to take a big step forward with our right foot, okay? Front of the mat, right foot. You're in a long position now with the back knee bent. We're pivoting on both feet and the body is straight, not leaning forwards at all. Not yet anyway. Get your balance. Reach those arms forward. Now we're turning right, the right leg's in front. The right arm reaches out behind you as far as you can go. Big breath in, big breath out. Now the two arms are forwards again. We're going to interlace the fingers, linked fingers. And that knee behind you, the left knee, you look in between your two hands, that's where that left knee is going to go, hopefully. It will take a little spring, okay? So a small little bounce up and down. And when you're ready, big breath in, breathing out. Let's see if we can bring that knee up in between our two hands. All good? If you want to hold the wall or hold something, hang on to it now. The left arm now is going to reach out behind you and you're twisting to the left. Big breath in, big breath out. Those of you who have a lot of practice, you don't need to hold your knee. You could reach both arms out at the same time. You decide. The leg can hold itself. You've got strong hip flexors. Two arms hold that front knee again. And we're going to take a balanced pose of our choice now. So for some, it's going to be tree pose. But for many others, I'm looking for warrior three, which means tilting forwards and reaching that back leg out behind you. There's so many options here. You could have your hands at your heart center. You could be doing tree pose. You could float your arms out like they're an airplane. Actively, if the back leg is in the air, push into the back heel, point the toes of the left foot down. Breathe, definitely breathe, and stomp a bit more energy into your right heel just to lift your two hips a little higher. We get the left foot now to the back of the mat. Feeling the heat? I hope so. Let's take downward dog to take the pressure off. Hands down, leg back. I hope you're smiling. It's weird not getting feedback at that point, but I feel like there's a smile or two happening there. Move it forwards through plank. Knees to the floor only if you need to. Otherwise, it's chin and chest to the floor. A little inhale up into cobra. And it's back to child's pose where you were a little while ago. Now stay here for a moment. Notice how your heartbeat is, how your breathing rate is, all the good stuff. Notice how you are churning up little bits of energy in the body. You're kind of, you're moving on, changing. You're putting the work in. You're trying new things, possibly. All right. Let's slowly stand up at the back of the mat, wide feet again. Fix the pants. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hands move towards your heart center. When the thumbs come as low as your chest, you're going to bend your knees, stick your bum out behind you. Now, investigate. Tail out, tail in. Big differences for your spine, not so much for your tail. What position makes your back feel most secure? It's a good word for it. You're feeling pretty good here. Stomp a bit more energy into the heels of your feet and see about curiosity kicking in and getting a bit lower. Yes, it's going to be tough on these quads. Whew, it's a stability exercise, this, not so much a stretch. Come all the way back up again and then just shake it off. Glad you're doing this with me. Okay, let's get this. We want a big step forwards with the left leg now. So find your balance, find your positioning, and get sorted. It's a high lunge. So we did a nice twist a while ago, low lunge. We're just taking it up a notch now into this high lunge. But if you think the high lunge is just not for you this evening, back knee on the ground now at this stage. Great, reach the arms forward. Back knee definitely bent. If it was straight, your body would be tilted forwards, okay? Open out the left arm, you're turning to the left. Lots of breath. Little reminders for the shoulders. You will be feeling little beads of sweat. That is normal. It does not mean you're weak. It means you're trying hard. And it also means you should have turned the heating off. I'm joking. I'm feeling it. Big breath in, big breath out. Now the two arms are forward, interlace the fingers. Now it's your right knee's turn to find that spot. I bet you can do it. Big breath in, moving forwards. On a breath out. Should feel pretty good now. We twisted left and now we're going right. We're opening out the right arm, right out behind us. There's heat in your body. Lift your chest. Reach to the wall behind you with that back arm. I mean, if you need to touch anything with your foot, help you keep balanced, or whatever the case may be. This is your practice. This is your Monday. Your home, your time. Now let's take the two hands around that knee again. Now we're going to move to our own challenging balance pose. So we all know the one that might kind of get us from time to time. That's the one to have a go at. Warrior 3 for most people, I think. I'd say there'd be quite a few as well. Just working on the steadiness now, the focus and the calm of tree pose. So you're making a decision now. Is it going to be a leg out behind you? Is it going to be a tall spine and tree? Wherever you are, the back heel lengthens away from you in this position. Maybe you can float the arms out. Lots of breath. Use blocks if you have them in front of you if you need them. Push into the left heel now, the standing legs heel, just to give you a little bit more value and strength up through the glutes. And let's hook back to the back of the mat with that foot. Ooh. Pop the hands down and take back that leg. We're back in downward dog. Something lovely coming up now. Moving forwards to plank, knees to the floor, and we're looking after our spine now through cat-cow. So the head and tail are going to move up. And we round our spine opposite way. We take a few rounds of cat and cow, just to find some ease with our practice again this evening, because some of that was quite hot. We're going to find a seat again on whatever you were sitting on. So you don't need to sit on anything, but if you had something and it makes life easier, definitely do it. Sitting down. And we're going to have one leg, we're kind of side sitting now. One leg in front, one leg behind. This isn't the horrible glute thing, just in case you're thinking about if you're going to do that back foot lift thing. No. This is just slightly different now. One leg in front, one leg behind. Move the leg behind back a good bit. Okay? Just for example, if you have the right leg in front, I want you to lean over onto the right hand. If the hand is uncomfortable doing that, make a fist. Okay? Left arm then is going to reach up to the sky, and you simply lift your hips up off whatever you were sitting, push your hips forward, and reach up as high as you can go. That's called Mermaid Pose. Nice. Big reach. Then we sit back down again. Leave the leg in front exactly where it is. And then just bring forwards the other leg. So tuck in the leg in front, tuck that foot in all the way to your body. The opposite leg is straight out, toes pointing to the ceiling. You're reaching all the way up. And then you're taking your hands down to your thigh, your knee, your shin, wherever it feels comfortable going. There's no huge advantage here to being able to touch your nose to your knee. Okay? All we're looking for is that you keep an active foot. You lean over that leg as far as is comfortable for you, and you're bound to feel some form of a hamstring stretch. If you feel a lot of pressure at the back of your left knee or the leg that you're working on, just bend that knee slightly and take the pressure off the knee. Ease back up slowly. We'll change sides. So one leg goes out front, the other leg behind. You're kind of side saddled now. For example, my left leg's in front, leaning on the left hand. So it becomes kind of natural to do that anyway. Move the back leg back as far back as you feel it can go. Okay. Top arm reaches up, and then you're simply lifting your bum and hips up. Hips up, pushing the hips forward. Looking up the hand, is there any advantage? Not really. If it feels nice for your neck, then do it. If you felt better off just looking down at the mat or whatever, well then that's more for your eyes, whatever's good for your eyes. Keep lifting the hips so to get some value again out of the front of hips, getting a stretch, the anterior hips, the hip flexors. Got a nice easy one coming for the glutes in a second. Okay, ease back down. Same as the last time now, we're just bringing the back leg out front, tucking in the other foot. Doesn't matter if this knee is way off the ground, wherever it lands, it lands. The important part now is that the long leg, you keep your toes pointed up to the ceiling. We'll reach the hands all the way up overhead, and then take the hands down to the thigh, the knee, the shin, the ankle, the foot, wherever it goes, it goes. Adjust whatever you have to be comfortable, to be able to stay here for a few breaths. Much better off now to be looking at the leg than looking at the foot. So just keeping an eye on the thigh, relaxing the head and neck. Active foot, that's what makes all the difference here. And then easing your way back up off it now. Nice part coming soon. Let's lie down onto the back. You can use pillows behind your head if you like. They're not really necessary just yet. We have a glute stretch to do. It's going to feel quite nice. Stretch out your right leg actually. Left leg, left knee will bend. Pull up that left knee up towards you and just hold on to it there for a little while. Let the right leg go quite heavy. Relaxed. You're going to use your right hand on your left leg. Left arm will reach out to the side. You're going to guide that bent knee all the way over. Your left hip can lift. All the way over, all the way over. As far over as your body wants it to go. Try to keep both shoulders on the floor. Try not to have this left arm come with you. Leave it behind and only go as far as you need to with that left leg. Now some of the time, a lot of people will just feel that in their spine, not so much in their hip. We're going to take care of that in a second. Come all the way back to the center of the mat, slowly. And cross that left foot over your right thigh. And now let's take our hands underneath, behind the back of that right thigh now. And just do what you do for a nice little glute stretch. You might be rocking a little. It might be staying still. What it is for sure about at this point is slowing down. as an aside, what you might notice right now is that this position doesn't feel as tight as it might have done if you had done it earlier in the day or yesterday or whatever. You've actually done a lot of work on the hips, so this mightn't feel as tight as normal, which is great. Okay, unhook. Slide out the left leg now. You've got the right leg in your hands already, so just bring it in a little closer. You could have the eyes closed at this stage, just kind of signaling to your body that it is about self-care and relaxation from here on in. When you are ready, you're going to take that leg in your left arm, you're going to stretch out the right arm, kind of like an anchor. That's going to weigh down there, and away you go. Go easy, go slowly, and just listen to the body as you go. So if it felt like something was too much at any point, you just bring it back a bit. It's not, the goal is not to touch the ground here. The goal is just to go as far as you need to go to feel good. And there is so much good going on in a pose like this, in a deep twist like this. Think of what's going on in the inside and the middle of your body, especially when you take a breath in. You really come across some space when you do that. Kind of primed now for the glute stretch. So ease your way back onto your back. Often your right foot is kind of hovering over the knee, waiting to go here. Right foot over the left knee, taking the hands around the back of the left thigh, and you might just rock side to side. And again, with this sort of a move, you often notice that it feels looser, or it feels all right. It can often feel tight. While doing this, begin to think about the back line of your body just weighing down onto the mat. You're moving into the quietness again. Moving into calmness. And slowly unhook those legs. If you like, you can take both knees towards you and rock a little bit more side to side, or you could begin to make your way to your Shavasana. Hop on your socks if you have a little blanket or a hoodie or whatever you have around you. You just cozy yourself up a little bit and lay yourself out straight or with your knees bent. Let's bring our awareness back into the middle of our body in your own time. I'll give you a moment to get settled in. Begin to become aware of the space that you have, your mat, the ground around you. And take up as much of that space as you want. You're at home, stretch out and lean into the floor. Just let that floor do all the work now. Fully support you. Here we bring our awareness back to the breath, just to tune into it, to notice it, and to be grateful for it. You will notice how your body moves as you breathe. There is no need to change anything. Think of the front of your hips for a moment and relax the front of the hips. Think of the thighs and the knee joints. And relax the fronts of your knees. Think of the shins and the ankle joints. And relax the fronts of your ankles. Think of the feet and all of the toes, heels, and the soles of your feet. Relax your feet. Relax the entire lower part of your body. Take a deep breath in, a really softening breath out. And we think of the fronts of our shoulders, our neck, our upper arms, and we relax the shoulders. We think about the elbows toward the wrists. And relax the wrists. We think about the wrists, backs of the hands, all the fingers, the thumbs, and the palms of our hands, and we relax our hands. We think about the spine from the back of the head all the way down to the tailbone. And we relax the spine. try and keep our mind with our breath just for a little bit longer. And then to bring our mind back to the mat that you're on, in the room where you are resting. We slowly move our mouth, our lips, our cheeks, our eyes, our hands and feet. And we take any little movements or stretches that feel just right for you this evening. Slowly move yourself towards a side lying position. And then ease your way back up to sitting, where we'll just meet just for a moment to bring ourselves back together again as a group and say to ourselves and to each other, to everyone involved here, Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all hopefully soon and Thursday at 8 as well. Have a lovely evening. Thanks a million. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Ah.